The cost of purchasing a home in Canton, Georgia has been increasing every year for many years, but there's one thing about Canton that makes it unique, especially compared to many of the other suburbs around Canton. So let's talk about what that is, and then we'll also talk about some of the other things associated with the cost of living in Canton, Georgia. What's up, y'all? My name is Victor. I'm a local real estate agent here in Metro Atlanta, and I put out videos every week about what it's like to live here in Atlanta and the suburbs around Atlanta. If you're thinking about moving here or you just have any questions about what it's like to live in Atlanta, feel free to call, text, or email me anytime. I'm the one who answers those phone calls and those text messages and those emails. As always, thank you so much to everybody who has reached out. I'm always happy to help. But right now, let's talk about what it looks like for the cost of living in Canton. In the last 90 days, the average sold price for a home here has been about $525,000. But the thing that makes Canton unique is that there's a much wider range of home prices here than many of the other suburbs. There are many homes for sale here in the 300s, even though the average price is in the 500s. And then there are also home prices here as high as 2 million. And one of the reasons for that is because Canton is kind of an up and coming suburb. There are really just now many people starting to move there. And so the growth there has been increasing a lot in the last few years. And while home prices here in this city have been much lower than 525 in the past 5 to 10 years, it's now starting to increase. So there are still plenty of homes that are in the 200s and 300s here in this city, but there are also some new construction homes in Canton that are much higher in the 500s or 600s. A few examples are 104 Longleaf Way in Canton. It's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath home, about 2,400 square feet, and they're asking $530,000, which again is about the average. Also, 689 Lorimore Pass, also in Canton, is a 4-bed, 3-bath home, about 2,700 square feet, and they're asking $535,000. But again, it's super common to find homes much lower in price in this city. So let's take a look at some homes that are in the 300s and what those houses look like. 210 Forest Trace is a 3-bed, 2-bath, about 1,400 square feet, and they're asking $395,000. Also, 534 Broughton Drive is a 3-bed, 3-bath home, about 1,700 square feet, and they're asking about $360,000. So again, while the average home price is about $525,000, again, totally doable to find homes in the 300s. Now let's break that down and see what that would look like for a typical monthly mortgage payment. For a $525,000 home with a 20% down payment and an interest rate of 6.8%, the monthly mortgage payment, including taxes and insurance, would come out to about $3,400 per month. I know interest rates have been all over the place for the last few months, but at the time of filming this video, interest rates are at about 6.8%, and most people feel like the interest rates are going to continue to come down, especially in the spring and summer when there are most amount of buyers in the market. This is probably when we'll see interest rates kind of decrease. So 6.8% right now is totally doable. And again, that monthly mortgage payment includes taxes and insurance. So let's talk about how much you should expect for those things in this city. For Canton and for most of the suburbs around Atlanta, typically about a 1.15% of the value of the home is what you should expect for property taxes. So for the average $525,000 home, the property taxes would come out to about $6,000 per year. And for homeowners insurance here, you're typically looking at about $1,500 to $3,000 per year. $2,000 is totally doable, so that's what I used for that example for the monthly mortgage payment. Okay, let's also take a look at how this city compares to some of the other areas around here. While the average home price in Canton is $525,000, in Marietta it's been about $475,000 in the last 90 days, and in Alpharetta it's been about $750,000. So Canton is kind of right there in the middle in between those two, but again, you can find a much wider range in this city. And when it comes to price per square feet, in Canton it's about $213 per square foot. In Alpharetta, it's about $268 per square foot. And in Marietta, it's far more similar to Canton, about $215 per square foot. Essentially, what this means is that you're going to get about the same amount of home or the same size home in Canton as you would in Marietta, but much larger than you would in Alpharetta. Because the cost per square foot in Alpharetta is more, you're going to get less home for your money in Alpharetta, more home for your money here in Canton. Also important to talk about is the amount of demand for homes here in this city. The average days that a home is on the market before going under contract in Canton in the last 90 days has been about 14 days. Now, this is kind of in the middle. In Alpharetta, it's closer to about 12 days, so there's a bit more demand for homes in Alpharetta. And in Marietta, it's been about 14 days. So Marietta and Canton are pretty similar when it comes to the amount of demand for home. Now, let's also talk about other things associated with cost of living here. You also need to know the price of gas because you're definitely going to be driving a lot if you live in Canton. It's definitely a suburban area that is not close to Atlanta. Most of Canton is not walkable, so you're going to need a vehicle for pretty much everything. Right now, the cost of gas is about $3.10. It will certainly increase during the summertime, as it always does. I think last summer, gas around here reached maybe $3.25, $3.35. But right now in the wintertime, again, it's about $3 to $3.10. And then utilities, again, is going to depend on the season. During the wintertime, the electric bill would probably come down to about $150 per month. In the summertime, you can expect somewhere closer to $250 per month as you're running that AC more, obviously. And then a big factor there is whether the home has natural gas. If it has natural gas, you should expect the natural gas bill to be a bit higher and the electric bill to be a bit lower. When it comes to groceries, that really depends on like what grocery store you go to. I think a lot of people kind of assume that some of these rural parts of Georgia don't have a like wide variety of grocery stores, but we really do have plenty of grocery stores. We have Whole Foods here, Publix, and then we kind of have like the mid-range grocery stores, Kroger, things like that. And then my favorite is the grocery stores that are like less expensive. Aldi, Lidl, we also have plenty of those in and around Canton. So certainly a lot of options when it comes to grocery shopping. And that would be like the biggest factor in how much your grocery bill would be. Now, there really is a lot of people moving here to this city, and there is a lot of great things going for Canton. There are so many upsides to living here, but there are also some downsides to living in this city. If you want a full list of the 10 things that I love and hate about Canton, Georgia, check out this video. I'll see you there.